This week, we've spoken extensively about illegal mining, Galamsey. We've been very hard on it, what had happened in the western region and also what is happening in the eastern region, among other things. What the government is doing about is just yesterday or 2 days ago, the Environmental Protection Agency, that is government through the Environmental Protection Agency, gave out some 24 Land Cruiser troopers and also about 250 motorbikes for these illegal mining sites to be monitored, among other things that the government is doing. But in studio with us is Professor Martin Otin Abebio, who is the board chair for Ghana Forestry Commission, for us to really delve deeper into what the government is doing when it comes to the fight against illegal mining. And you know, an 18-member committee was actually set by the Lands and Natural Resources Minister in the month of February to bring some policy guidelines, how best we can go about mining in this country and how it can be done responsibly. And among other things that we'll be discussing on the show this morning. Prof, you're welcome to Breakfast Daily on ChannelOne TV.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
And we're also excited that you've joined us this morning.
More than excited.
This issue of illegal mining, a critical threat to Ghana's environment and future generation. You have done some work. You have visited some of these areas, these mining areas and all that. First of all, I want to ask you, is it that bad?
Thank you very much. Yes, don't let us romanticize anything. The situation is dire. That's the reason why the government has shown that commitment to save the situation. In fact, I call it a toxic legacy if you don't fight and fight it well. It's dire. Especially in three regions, Western region and Ashanti region.
Really?
Yes.
What is it in Western North that makes it bad? What is it in Western region that makes it bad, and also Ashanti region?
So if you look at the geography of the country, most of our big rivers are in the southwestern part. These are the areas that we also have our tropical forests. And these are the forest reserve that also contain the Dahomian soils, which contain alluvial gold. So the convergence of forests, water bodies, and gold serve as an attraction for those illegal miners to, as it were, carry out their trade. And in so doing, because it was done unmonitored, unsupervised, it has caused so much harm to the forest, first, to the river bodies, and indeed to our very livelihood. Remember, Ghana has had cocoa as its mainstay in terms of when it comes to the economy. Today, if you listen to Dr. Randy Abbey talk, they are struggling to make their ends meet.
Wow.
Yes.
It's really affected the cocoa sector.
Cocoa industry. That is that bad.
And you being the board chair for the Forestry Commission, I'm sure you've also taken some sort of focus in our forest reserves and all that. Per your research and per the things you have seen, what is the state of our forest reserves now?
So, if you listen to the minister speak the last time, he spoke about the fact that about 47,000 acres of our land forest are gone. And if you want to look at the size, about 7,500 sports football parks. In terms of, we want to quantify it, the level of degradation of our forest amount to about 7,500 football size, football park sizes.
Yeah.
And that
Football
tells
field
you
size,
the level of degradation that we are talking about.
And with this miners in the forest reserves, we do have the alluvial mining, and we have some mining companies that are well regulated to go about the mining in these forest reserves? What would you say that is the major problem that is really affecting our forest reserves? For maybe people are ignoring the science and still mining in the forest reserves.
Well, my good friend, you know that people have realized there's money in there. Remember, we are looking at a situation where now the gold price is going to hit around 5,000, as it were. So even you get a small ounce, you've made money.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising people go into the pit, it caves in, their competitors are killed, they bring them out, bury them, and the next 2-3 days, they are in there. The need to get rich quick is there. Lack of perhaps alternative livelihood in the villages. And the chronic poverty that exists in our rural areas could all account for that. But more importantly, in recent times, we've seen different actors joining those who are using the mining as a business, investing heavily, providing the necessary resources, and bringing in new technology. And that is accounting for the rate at which we
are having issues. Let's move straight into the committee, the 18-member committee that was set by the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, and this was done in February. So just a story just to give our viewers a perspective of whatever we are talking about when it comes to the committee. So the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has been working and talking regarding the fight against illegal mining and the protection of environment, as it has collaborated with the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology to establish a committee to develop a blueprint for the reformation and the sensitization or sanitation rather of the mining sector. The 18-member committee chaired by Prof himself, Professor Otin Abebi of the University of Ghana, has been given 2 weeks ultimatum to develop and create strategy that will serve as a form to Ghana's mining sector, a better way and a responsible way for mining. In accordance with its terms of reference, the committee will, among other things, review the licensing regime and produce or processes in mining industries, assess mining activities in forest reserves, suggest methods to stop mining in water bodies, and also propose solutions to address issues facing the mining sector. So these were the KPIs, the key performance index for the committee. But Prof, we want to find out from you, how far with the committee, how far with the report or whatever findings you have to give to the government for us to look at sort of a blueprint when it comes to the mining sector?
Thank you very much. Yes, we're given 2 months initially to submit a report. But when we sat down as a committee, we realized it was not possible. So our position was this: any policy that is not driven by data is bound to fail. So we needed to do critical work, legwork, and come up with. So after our initial deliberation, we decided to give an immediate report, a short-term report, a medium-term report, and a long-term
report.
And that's exactly what we did. And the report that we have, which we'll be submitting perhaps next week, is underpinned by 3 key principles.
Okay.
The committee was of the view that the militarized fight against illegal mining is neither elite neutral nor apolitical. And that most of the times the crackdown on illegal mining affect the poor and actually leave those elite.
So are you saying that the military or sort of the forces that have been put on are sort of biased?
Not that their modus operandi almost always go against the low income artisanal workers instead of those who are behind the.
So they go attack the small ones,
Yeah, exactly.
instead of the kingpins.
Exactly, because they are on the field. The small ones are always on the field. And you hear the president talk about this several times. Because the small ones are always on the field working for the big man in the offices.
Okay.
And because the big men are not in there, they are not seen. And they find a way to, as it were, gag these small boys to betray them. Because when it goes to the court, they are able to find their way out to get the boys free.
Okay.
So we needed to understand that fact. We also have to, we also felt that the fight was not an action, but a process.
Okay.
A process because the Galamsey is deep-rooted.
But Doc, before we come to whether action or a process, you also spoke about apolitical.
Yes.
So are you saying that these military officers or the people who are put down there, sort of, when it comes to, they favor a particular political party, or what exactly is the explanation?
No, I guess you were here in 2023 when Professor
Frimpong
Boatin submitted his comprehensive report.
Yes.
Where he named politically tainted people who were behind the Galamsey business. How it was treated tells us the reason why we are saying that it's not apolitical. There are always some political interests that we should always bear in mind.
Okay. Well noted.
Then we're talking about the process, and we are saying that it is not an action. It's not something that perhaps people were clamoring for the state of emergency.
Yes.
As if once you put in a state of emergency, the system will stop. No, because the cause of Galamsey is deep-rooted. So that we need to find a solution that solves social, environmental, even political issues before it can work.
So you think that a state of emergency is not needed now?
I'm not seeing what the state of emergency would have done that we are not doing today. Unless you want to educate me. What a state of emergency would do that we are not doing now.
Maybe others also argue that a state of emergency would help maybe intensify the fight. They are not seeing much from the government.
Well, you see, and I cannot blame them. And I told you that we don't have to romanticize the issue. If you go in there, the situation is dire. If you see PRA today, if you can't go to Konyako and they cannot even, then the situation is dire.
The headworks is shut down.
Exactly.
Currently. Bream is also suffering.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. So we don't have to romanticize it. But the problem is that the solution is not a one-shop or one-size-fits-all approach. We need to understand the problem, the nitty-gritty, before we can find a solution.
So you've listed some of the problems, and you've listed some of the issues that will really have to be addressed. It says that it's not an action; it's actually a process, or it has to follow the process. What else did you find out when you went out there to also ensure that at least we find a good way to do mining in this country?
And we also have to understand that there's one point that I want to make, that not all mineralized land must be mined.
Oh.
There should be a trade-off. The short-term benefits in mining and the long-term benefit in national development. There should always be that kind of conversation. That's the reason why in the mineral law we have I think section 12, we need to weigh the community benefits vis-a-vis the short-term minerals that we are going to get.
So we should have some of the lands breathe. It's not like we are doing prospecting on every land.
Now, once you do prospecting and you think that the minerals in there will not commensurate the investment that you have to, the big mineral companies will not even do it.
Okay.
But the Galamsey guys would
may go into do it.
May go and do that. That's the reason why I say we need to perhaps go through the geological survey, identify our mineralized areas, look at the content before we start mining.
But Prof, what can be done to stop people who would want to mine on all lands that they think there are minerals in there?
So that is where we come in. First, the policy that we have proposed, I'm going to talk about 5.
Okay.
I mean, it says that before we can succeed in this fight, we need political will and consensus. Now we are talking about it. Every Ghanaian is talking about it. The pastors are talking about it. The imams are. So there's a consensus that we need to find a solution to it. Perhaps where we are not agreeing, perhaps, is the modus operandi.
Okay.
Second, we are also saying that the policy should be holistic. It should not be siloed. The EPA does this, Forest Commission does this, Water Resource does this. We should have a comprehensive policy that addresses the challenge.
So you think that now everybody's sort of doing his or her own thing?
It's a bit siloed, we think. Whoa. So we are proposing first the centralization of the licensing regime. Hitherto, if one wants to do small-scale mining, you have to apply. It comes to Accra, and it takes how long? A year and plus. Fancy a situation where somebody is in Awaso looking for permit to mine. He puts in his application and it takes 2 years. From Awaso to Accra, in and out, for 2 years. And the longevity of an illegal mining site is between 6 months and a year.
Oh.
Once they start a plot, 6 months, they are done.
Within 6 months?
They are done.
They've been able to get all the minerals they need to get and they move out of the place.
So if you want to delay for 1 year, 2 years before you give the license, you go and see a devastated land.
So by the time you are delaying as a state official, a government entity,
they
are doing the mining.
Because if they don't, somebody will go and do it.
Okay.
So we are saying that to curtail that, let's take the licensing regime to the local level, the assembly, where we will have EPA, Mineral Commission, Water Resources, all these agencies that are related, that you have to go, go from one entity to the other at the local level and think through. And we also would want to add the chiefs, the district assembly, and the Galamsey themselves to be part of the licensing regime. The need to bring the chiefs in here is crucial so that they could also be a monitoring tool at the village level.
Yes.
Hitherto, when a chief calls you, you don't delay in responding.
Exactly.
But today, because the band does not owe allegiance, the license to the chief, he would definitely not. In fact, there was when we went to Akatieso in Ashanti region, Adansi, the chief told us he was going to Kumasi. Then he saw a group of Galamseyers mining under a pylon, electricity pylon.
Really?
Then he stopped and told them, don't you think that this, what you're doing is dangerous? It will fall on you. The boys had the guts to ask him, are you now a ECG worker?
Wow.
Yes.
Because they know the chief is not having the
authority.
power to even
They were
call
virtually
into
made
action.
toothless. We think that we need to send back that authority to them to be part of the licensing regime so that they can also be part of the monitoring regime.
And you think that can embolden the chiefs to say that
Exactly.
don't mine on this land,
Exactly.
do it on this land.
Exactly.
And they can also be held accountable if
Exactly.
these people are found mining at places that are not good.
Now, you cannot necessarily hold him accountable because he was partially involved. The second point that we are also suggesting, to make room for people to do what they do, let's bring them together under cooperative. It's not very new. In fact, the previous regime tried to do same, and they term it community mining.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the community mining license that they gave, that we have looked at, none of them, just close to 13, had semblance of community mining.
Oh.
All the so-called community mining licenses that they gave were from people outside the community. So it did not solve the problem that it was intended to solve. In fact, the idea is that one community mining can employ between 500 to 1,000 people, bring them together. And if you look at the scheme that we have proposed, the district assembly has about 10% in there. The traditional authority has about 10% in there. Those who are proposing have about 60% in there. We have about 10% for rehabilitation. So it will give the boys opportunity to do what they want to do in a very controlled and monitored manner.
Wow.
I can say without any fear of contradiction, if you give anybody within a mining site any alternative livelihood, he will not take it.
We'll still go into mining.
He will prefer that one.
Because from your findings, it looks like it brings in more income.
It's not from a finding. It is what brings them there.
It brings them more income.
Yes. So if you look at even those who provide ancillary work, the Okada guys.
Yes.
Okada guys goes on his normal rounds. A day he gets about 50, 100 cedis. When he decides to chat fuel to them at the site, he gets close to 400 cedis a day.
Wow.
Yes.
So the Okada guy transporting fuel from wherever it is in the community to the Galamsey site,
Exactly.
the Okada guy gets 400 Ghana cedis. That's like
Almost, yes.
400% of what he would have ideally gotten if he's not engaging in any form of illegal mining. Really?
Exactly. So when we go in there and confront them, we burn their fuel. So they used to have tanks that they store their fuel. Now, because of they don't know when the people will be coming, they call for fuel as and when. So, and that's the duty of the Okada guys.
Because it's very fast and easy for you to move with a motorbike to the location. Wow.
And that's also giving them one. So it's an entrenched something which you need to understand before you can fashion out a very good policy.
But, Prof, can the fights be won?
Of course, it should. You should be very optimistic.
Because looking at the fact that sort of engaging these illegal miners who are supposed to move out of the illegal mining space, now creating sort of sustainable jobs for them. And this is what they are really vested into, trying to make money and all that. And from what you've just said, isn't it a very difficult fight?
It's not. That's the reason why once we are able to establish the cooperative mining, in fact, draw your attention, that was what we were going to inaugurate in Obuasi.
Yes.
That met, our colleagues made here on timely that. If you are able to bring this cooperative mining to being, I think it will be a game changer. The government has decided to provide the machine and the technology for refining the gold instead of they doing what they do. The government has also decided to give technical support in terms of advising them what to do, what not to do. If that is able to do. In fact, once the people are part of the community, they will be the policemen for us in there because they want to maintain their work. The third thing that we also trying to, we have proposed, apart from the cooperative, the decentralization, we're also proposing to use range camps in the forest. So if you come to Forestry Commission, we have two types of forest protection. We have the wildlife group, and we have the forestry guards. If you look at all the forests that we have lost, very little is in the area of where the wildlife is. And the reason being that the wildlife guards are in the forest 24/7. They stay in the forest. In fact, I gave them one of the pictures, if they can put it on there, which shows the building that they are currently in.
I think that's what we have on the screen.
Yes. The left one is what they are currently in there. Built somewhere in the 1930s. And because they are permanently in the forest 24/7, the Galamseys cannot enter. We are suggesting that let's upgrade the building
to what is on
the right side. In fact, we tried using lumber. They went and bent it. They bent it completely. So right now we are suggesting this one is a container, 40-footer container that we have tried to use to manufacture this. And thank God some companies have started sponsoring. And we think that once we are able to put this in there permanently, at least they will be monitoring and as a way, as if you want to give us first-hand information when the forest is attacked.
Wow.
If situation where the military goes and leaves, it's not helping.
Because when they leave, the Galamseys can also go and do their own thing.
So when they leave, now they term it disco mining. So
the mine at night.
Yes, from 10 o'clock to 4 a.m.
Wow.
And they live there.
So when you come the daytime, you won't see anyone.
You won't see anybody. And if you care to know, between January and April, Forestry Commission alone coughed out close to 4 million to fight
illegal mining.
Exactly. So we are thinking that if you're able to put in this and the people are permanently there, the challenge has always been that those forestry guards were not armed, but the wildlife guards are armed. The forestry guards are using catapults and what I call the Nsunyame dog to go around.
So that means they also have to be well resourced.
Exactly. Now we are going to bring the forestry guards and the wildlife guards together. They are armed so that they can be there permanently. And we think that will also help us.
That will come with a lot of funds. You need a lot of money to do that, I guess.
Already we have some guards in the forest. but they are not in the normal forest reserves.
Okay.
They are in the wildlife reserves. We are extending their presence into the other forest reserve. So that once the soldiers help us to clear them, we put them there.
Okay. But the president has also stated that there is a need for a bigger budget when it comes to the fight against illegal mining. From what you said, we need money to do all these things. What will be your take on what the president has also made mention of?
Of course, I
the
mean,
bigger budget.
I just told you that within 4 months, we
Spend 4 million.
that is from Forestry Commission. I know Mincom is there.
Yeah.
I know the ministries does something. I know the government itself is spending. It's a big fight. It is a big fight that needs big money. And we think that we cannot continue doing the same thing and expect different results.
Wow. But there is an environmental restoration fund. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, that's one of the suggestions that we are also suggesting, that we should have environmental
Restoration fund.
fund, where we are suggesting 3 sources.
Okay.
First, between 2 to 5% tax on every gold sales.
Should go into the fund.
It should go into the fund. And Gold Board should help us do that.
Sami JV.
Yes, my good friend. Because the polluter pays. Those causing the mess should also help us to, as it were, bring it back. So if we are charging 2%, at least to start with, for every ounce of gold sale, I think it will be very helpful to us to generate some money to fight the fight. We are also suggesting that our international collaborators, I'm not saying that they are not doing, they are doing it now. The Arab Fund gives us some funds too, but it goes to individual organizations, EPA, Forestry Reserve, Forestry Commission, Water Resources, to do what they want to do. But I'm saying that if it's for environmental restoration, then it should come to a common fund so that we can take a common decision. Because we cannot do all the restoration at a time, we will then prioritize which of them we should do. That will have a catalytic effect on others.
Wow.
So then we're also suggesting the third one perhaps is
The grants and the funding from the International Environmental Conservation Organization.
exactly. That is also very important. And we think that once we're able to do the forest restoration fund, it also helps us a lot.
Wow. That's interesting. Prof, before you take leave of us, the issue of illegal mining, we've been talking about it for God knows how long. There have been the blue water guards which we have right now, and the previous administration drones, and there were also the jet skis that they said they were going to bring on board, and also monitoring the forest reserves and all that. Don't you think that we've done too much to be seeing too little?
Let me just add one suggestion that we have we've also given to the minister. We are saying that, in fact, it came up in one of our discussions in Upper East. They suggested that we should cut off the oxygen from the mineral zones.
Okay.
And he explained that all the Galamsey sites do not have filling stations, for example. But they need fuel to work. And we see fuel being carted to the sites.
To the sides.
And these are deep forests. What are they going to do them? So if we can cut off deliberate policy, and that's why they call it oxygen, they cannot breathe.
Without fuel, they would definitely not be able
Exactly. So let's make sure, if you go to most of these communities, we have workshops for champagnes there. Champagnes are only used in water bodies, is that right?
Yes.
So if we are able to take that thing off, make it illegal, we are taking the oxygen from the business. They used drugs a lot, and we know all those who sell drugs in the villages. Why don't we also target them?
The drugs.
Yes. So once we make it, that's why we are saying that the fight is a holistic approach. It is not. To come back to your question.
Yes, which is very important that we ask.
I think that from where I said, what we have done wrong is trying to repeat what we have done over the years. Operation Vanguard, Halt 1, Halt 2, Halt 3, Move 1, Move 2.
So we are always giving sort of
acronyms,
taglines.
But the same modus operandi. Go and hit, come back, and go and hit again. It doesn't work. That's why I started by saying that any policy that is not underpinned by research is bound to fail. And I explained the reason why we have failed. And that explains the reason why I'm now very confident we are not going to fail. Because we now understand their game. So the policy that we have, if you look at the policy, we said it's organic.
Okay.
It changes with their modus operandi. Let me tell you this. The water guards that we trained and deployed.
The blue water guards.
Yes. Government paid them, I think, 700 or 800. The Galamseyers were prepared to give them 5,000.
Really?
Yes.
A month?
5,000. So don't report.
They may be compromised.
More than compromised. In fact, if you have the number of, we count the number of water guards on site now, they are virtually gone. We use the low bed to bring the excavators from the site to safe place, isn't it?
Yes.
And we pay 5,000. They'll give you 20,000 not to go.
So every move you make, the Galamseyers try to break your move and give these people that you are engaging sort of more than the amount of money you are giving.
Try as you to get them to go join you to the site to bring they don't go.
They won't, because they've been compromised.
Exactly.
They've been given 20,000 4 times of the 5,000.
Exactly. That is the gravity of the situation. That's the reason why I'm saying that it is deep-seated, and you need to understand so that you can fashion out a better solution. It's not one size fits all. If you go to Upper East, their system is different. They do hard rocks.
Okay.
They go down. Their challenge is neither water or no. But go to Western, Northwestern, and Ashanti, Carrier, Baby, it's horrible.
Wow. Looking at the amounts involved, this fight. Let's talk briefly about the LI 2462 before you go or before you take leave of us. The pressure has been that particular LI should be revoked. Do you want to share more details on that, and whether you also back that particular move by public or by people who are saying that mining in forest reserves is a no-no?
No, well, I mean, I can also sympathize and align with them because of the observations that we are all observing. But we should always be informed that mining in the forest reserve is not new. It had been with us since the 1970s. In fact, 17 companies were given licenses to mine in the forest way back in 1979. So we have the Newmont, we have the AGC, they are all there, they are all mining. But because they were mining responsibly, we did not suffer the fate that we are suffering today. The bane of our situation is when the likes of Akonta Mining and Co. were able to influence the powers that be to enact that law. If you look at since then, 2020 to 2023, over 900 licenses
were
issued authorizing people to mine in the forest reserves. So you shouldn't expect anything different from what we are saying.
What has been the rippling effect of that?
It's what we are saying. It's what we are saying. When in 79, to the time that we saw this upsurge in insurance online, we had just about 19. And I think only 8 or 9 were very active. The rest were dormant. And these were issued based on extensive research to know that they were being monitored. Our pain is the unguarded issuance
of the
licenses. And I think that's where our problem started. In fact, recently the minister has caused a committee to review all the licenses. And I heard him say about 250 is going to be revoked. I think that we should revoke more. We should revoke more.
Prof, thank you so much for your time. Any final words you want to share with us before you take leave of us?
Nothing much. Only to say that we all agree the situation is dire. It needs immediate attention. But attention should be guided by, I don't want to use the words common sense. At this stage, we need more thinking than booga booga. It's a fight that calls for more thinking than using erratic measures. It doesn't help. It failed yesterday, and if you go the same way, to fail.
To fail today.
We need to be informed daily by what is happening on the ground and fashion out appropriate remedy to it.
Prof, thank you so much, because if the illegal miners are giving the very people we are pushing out there to fight the mining 20,000, and government is giving them 5,000, that's huge. And also the Okada rider is getting 400 cedis instead of the 100 Ghana cedis. That's huge. Prof, thank you so much. Professor Martin Otain Abebio is the board chair.
Let me help you with my name. Otain
Abebio is the board chair of the Ghana Forestry Commission, and he's also the chairman of the 18-member committee that the Lands and Natural Resources Minister put together, so that they bring some sort of report on how best we can mine it when it comes to the licensing and all that. Prof, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for
We are most grateful. You're still watching Breakfast Daily here on ChannelOne TV.